Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Good
Mrs.
afternoon.
Bogan.
Now, before we begin our session, I would just like to briefly review some information pertaining to confidentiality. Now, I know that your parents, as well as you guys, signed a confidentiality statement. However, I just want to briefly go over some of the information. Now, we're meeting as a group, and it is very important that we maintain confidentiality. Although I cannot guarantee that all the information discussed won't be disclosed, I hope that we as a group can respect each other's right to privacy and refrain from discussing the information that we speak about as a group with others. If we can just keep it within the group, that would be best. Now, I personally will keep our discussion confidential unless I feel someone is at risk for harm or danger, or that someone else is at risk of harm or danger. At that time, I will be obligated to disclose that information. Now, I may give staff or administrators a brief information or the topics that we discussed in our session. However, I will not discuss the details that we speak about. Is everyone comfortable with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sounds great. Okay, so now I'll quickly go over the rules. As far as rules, I just expect everyone to be respectful to each other. You know, we're a group together. We'll be here for a few more sessions. And to just make sure you're making everyone feel comfortable. Okay? Now, our goal today, we're going to be going over social skills exercise, and the goal is for us as a group to learn some interpersonal skills and the importance of effective communication. Okay? Now, the first activity, I'm going to pass each person a sheet of paper.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And a pair of scissors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm going to go over some directions. I'll say the directions, and you guys will just follow as I provide you with the directions. First set of directions. Please fold your paper in half.
Does it matter if it's horizontal or vertical half?
Just love this folding in half.
Okay.
Now, please fold your paper again in half.
Okay.
And then just make two cuts, cut two pieces off of your paper.
So do you mean like one cut and then it'll be two?
Just two cuts.
Just,
anywhere.
just a slice
Slice or cut.
anywhere,
Just two cuts.
just two slices
Yeah, or cut two pieces off.
off.
Or just two pieces. Can be off or just cut. Okay, when you're done, it's fine. Okay, now when you're done, just open your paper. And hold it up so each person can see. Okay, now, everyone look at each person's paper. Do they look exactly the same?
No.
No, but I gave the exact directions, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct, but you see how each person has a different outcome. So let's discuss that outcome, which also has to do with communication. So let's talk about the outcome. Why do you think they were all different? And just whoever wants to, go ahead. We don't even have to raise hands. We'll just speak and we'll be respectful.
Because we have different tastes and style.
Okay.
We
That could be possible.
interpreted your directions
Good
differently.
answer. Interpret directions differently.
Perhaps we weren't, well aware of what the complete instructions were, so we just kind of went with what we felt we were asking.
Great. It sounds like, as a group, we all feel that everyone had a different interpretation, or we didn't get all the information that we needed, which has to do with communication. So,
That's interesting.
yeah, so same directions, but if the communication is ineffective, we're going to get different results. How do you guys think, and just in general, you can talk about this activity or just in general, what do you think would have made this activity where everyone would have had the same process or same communication, understanding of the activity to get the same result?
If you go ahead.
If like you told us like a specific direction, or like for an example, like to just cut two straight lines.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Yeah, I could have told you 2 straight lines.
If you're more clear with your instructions, providing more detail, I think we would have had our outcomes would have been more similar.
Okay, good. So, 2 of you have so far said that just being more clear and, like you stated, cut the details. Cut 2 straight lines. You gave a clear example. I definitely feel the same way that you guys. So as a group, we feel the same way. In life, how do you think what do you think makes effective communication? Being
Mutual understanding.
mutual understanding.
Just effective communication can be, I think the more clear you are between 2 individuals or 2 or more individuals, the better like this example, the better the outcome is probably going to be. So the more clear you are with how you're communicating, then I think, the desired outcome will be better. And the less clear or the less effective your communication is, then the less the outcome's going to be.
I agree.
Okay. In real life, what are your real life situation? How do you think you can communicate effectively with others? I haven't heard from you. If you want to, or I have, but if you want to, just interject whenever you want.
A real life situation. I feel a lot of the times when there was like a lack of communication, it's because things weren't properly discussed, or there wasn't a actual conversation, like a good general conversation about something that was unclear to both parties. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. In terms of people communicating, what could, and just like an example you're saying? Provide an example.
It's up to you. We just have an open discussion amongst our group.
I feel like whenever I've had an issue with trying to communicate with someone, it's because either myself or the other party I was communicating with didn't completely either provide the best kind of communication.
Okay.
So then it was left to just one person or the other is guessing what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So then, at the end of it, you have one person that thought they were thinking something different. But they're communicating, they're thinking that they're, everything is going okay, but at the end, you have one person that had a different result than the other.
Okay, so what you're saying is like the interpretation. That's
Right.
what you guys are saying. Okay, like the interpretation. Okay.
Communication is one different thing from effective communication. There can be communication, but in order for both people to properly understand or have a clear understanding between each other, it has to be effective. So,
Nice. Very good. Okay. And when we're talking about effective, what are some things that you think make it effective? Would it be,
When both parties are willing and open to listen.
oh, excellent. You guys, yeah, you guys are really in detail about this topic. Yes, listening, that's a big component of it as well. Like you said, and you said listening, and you said interpreting, and you said that was excellent. Communication, you can communicate, but it has to be effective. Yeah. So, we're gonna close the activity. Our sessions, as I had stated prior, there'll be approximately 10 minutes or so, and we have a few more sessions. I just want to summarize what we've gone over. Remember, our goal, of course, was to talk about, the importance of effective communication with doing, social skills. Now, do you guys think this session was effective, or something that you guys can do when you leave here at home to try?
Yeah, I really think this exercise was interesting because although, you gave instructions, I could see, while we were participating, we may have different outcomes because I felt like the instructions were not vague, but because they were vague, I almost knew that each person was going to have a different outcome.
Wow. So
based on a vague, direction, we're going to have, different outcomes. That's what I thought.
I agree.
I agree.
I feel like it gives a clear visual explanation to the topic. Just kind of shows you how different, if the level of communication isn't clear, people interpret different and different outcomes. So
Yeah.
Correct. And I'm sure, well, I know I've had in my life to where I think I'm telling someone something and then it's totally different. And it's, because the communication wasn't effective. I didn't make sure it was clear, meaning maybe the size, the color, or maybe I wasn't listening or they weren't listening. But yeah, it's something. So as far as when you guys leave, I'm going to have homework for the group. I want you guys, when you get home, to see if you can practice maybe at least once or twice when you're either with your friends or with your family. Before you communicate, think about it like, I'm going to try effective communication. I'm going to make sure I'm clear or, detailed, and see how that works, if that works better than normal, or just to see if it worked, if it was effective, if they understood what you were saying. So can you guys, before our next meeting, which will be about a week, just make sure you can bring that back to the group so we can discuss that before we begin our next session. Will that be okay?
Yes.
excellent.
Sounds good.
Okay. And so does anyone have any questions or anything else they want to add to the discussion before we end it?
No, I don't have any questions.
No further questions.
No.
You sure? Are you
Yeah.
sure?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you guys for your time, and you have a wonderful afternoon.
You too.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. It says 13 minutes. Yes.
Perfect. Good job.